Hollow House, a decrepit Victorian mansion hidden deep within the woods, had always been a source of dread in the small town of Willowbrook. Its dark, looming presence seemed to cast a shadow over the entire community. Local legends whispered of the sinister history that clung to the house like a shroud, and those who dared to venture near its rotting walls would often claim to hear eerie whispers in the night. The tale began in the late 1800s when the house was inhabited by the Calloway family, known for their eccentric and reclusive nature. Rumors of dark practices and occult rituals swirled around them, but no one dared confront them about it. It wasn't until one fateful night that the truth was revealed. It was a moonless night in October when the townsfolk were awakened by blood-curdling screams emanating from Hollow House. Fearful whispers spread like wildfire as neighbors gathered outside the mansion, clutching their lanterns and crosses. The local sheriff, a stout and resolute man named Samuel Harding, led a group of brave souls to investigate. The scene inside Hollow House was nightmarish. The Calloway family, 6 members in all, lay lifeless in the grand parlor, arranged in a grotesque tableau of a pentagram. Their eyes were wide with terror and their limbs contorted in unnatural positions. A pervasive sense of malevolence hung in the air. The authorities declared it a murder-suicide, but the townsfolk knew better. It was a ritualistic massacre, a dark pact with forces beyond comprehension. The house was sealed off, but it remained a haunting specter in Willowbrook's collective consciousness. Years passed, and Hollow House remained untouched, a rotting relic of the past. But it was during the autumn of 1954 that the horrors of Hollow House resurfaced with a vengeance. The Gardner family, newcomers to Willowbrook, purchased the mansion with plans to restore it to its former glory. They were warned by the town's elders, but they dismissed the stories as mere superstition. The Gardners moved in, and for a while, all seemed well. But as the days grew shorter and the nights colder, strange occurrences plagued the family. Objects moved of their own accord, whispers echoed through the empty halls, and shadows danced in the corners of their vision. One evening, as the Gardners gathered around the dinner table, their youngest daughter, Sarah, began speaking in an eerie, guttural voice. She claimed to be a messenger of the Calloway family, bound by an ancient curse. Her eyes glowed with an otherworldly light as she spoke of the horrors that had transpired within Hollow House. Terrified, the Gardners sought the help of a local priest, Father Thomas. The exorcism was a harrowing ordeal. Sarah's body contorted in unnatural ways, and her voice alternated between demonic growls and anguished screams. Finally, after hours of struggle, the evil entity was expelled and Sarah fell into an exhausted sleep. The priest left Hollow House with a warning. He told the Gardners that they must leave the cursed mansion, but they were determined to stay. They believed they could rid the house of its malevolent presence. Days turned into weeks, and the darkness within Hollow House grew stronger. The Gardners became increasingly isolated, their minds unraveling under the relentless assault of the supernatural. The walls oozed with an inky substance that seemed to pulse with a sinister life of its own. One fateful night, as a violent storm raged outside, the Gardners were driven to madness. They descended into a gruesome frenzy, attacking one another with a ferocity that defied reason. By morning, all that remained of the family were lifeless, mangled corpses. The townsfolk were horrified by the gruesome scene that awaited them. Hollow House was sealed once more, this time with chains and sacred symbols etched into its rotting wood. It was a stark reminder of the malevolent force that lurked within its walls. The years passed, and Hollow House remained a place of dread. It became a rite of passage for the town's youth to dare each other to spend a night inside the cursed mansion. None who entered ever spoke of what they saw, but their haunted eyes told tales of unspeakable horror. Willowbrook continued to flourish, but the darkness of Hollow House cast a long shadow. The town's elders knew that the evil within the mansion could never truly be vanquished, only contained. And so, Hollow House stood as a testament to the unspeakable horrors that could befall those who dared to disturb the past. To this day, the legend of Hollow House lives on, a chilling reminder that some places are best left undisturbed. The town of Willowbrook thrives, but it does so with the knowledge that, in the heart of its woods, a malevolent force waits, biding its time for the next unsuspecting soul to cross its threshold. Story 2. Blackwood Manor, an imposing stone structure nestled in the heart of the Scottish Highlands, had long been abandoned. Its brooding architecture and desolate location had earned it a reputation as one of the most haunted places in the region. Local lore whispered of the curse that plagued the manor, and the tale of the vanishing at Blackwood Manor was etched into the collective memory of the townsfolk. The story unfolded in the late 1800s when the Blackwood family, known for their wealth and eccentricity, had taken up residence in the Grand Manor. Lord Archibald Blackwood, a reclusive aristocrat, had a fascination with the occult, and it was said that he conducted dark experiments in the hidden depths of the mansion. One fateful winter's night, a storm of unprecedented fury swept through the Highlands. The townsfolk huddled in their homes, seeking shelter from the tempest, but they couldn't ignore the eerie green glow that emanated from Blackwood Manor's windows. It was a sight that would forever haunt their dreams. The following morning, as the storm subsided, the townsfolk ventured to Blackwood Manor, fearing the worst. To their astonishment, the manor's towering stone walls stood unscathed. However, there was no sign of the Blackwood family. The grand doors swung open with an eerie creak, revealing a scene of utter desolation within. The interior was bathed in an eerie, sickly green light that seemed to emanate from the very walls. The once lavish furnishings were now in a state of decay, and the air was thick with an oppressive presence. As they explored further, the townsfolk discovered a series of bizarre, interconnected chambers beneath the manor. These underground passages were adorned with arcane symbols and filled with unsettling artifacts, testaments to Lord Archibald's obsession with the occult. The most chilling discovery was a room that appeared to be a makeshift laboratory containing a table with restraints and a collection of journals filled with cryptic incantations. The townsfolk grew increasingly uneasy as they delved deeper into the manor's mysteries. Whispers of spectral voices and ghostly apparitions echoed through the corridors. The manor itself seemed to come alive, its walls shifting and pulsating as if it had a malevolent will of its own. The search for the Blackwood family continued, but it was fruitless. There were no signs of struggle or violence, no clues to their fate. They had simply vanished, leaving behind a mansion tainted by an unspeakable evil. Years turned into decades, and Blackwood Manor remained abandoned, a place of dread that no one dared to approach. The once thriving town fell into decline, its prosperity waning as if cursed by its association with the manor. It wasn't until the summer of 1958 that the curse of Blackwood Manor resurfaced. A group of adventurous teenagers from the nearby town decided to spend a night inside the haunted mansion. Armed with flashlights and bravado, they ventured into the dark heart of the manor. As night fell, the manor came alive with a malevolent energy. Whispers echoed through the halls, and shadows danced on the walls. The teenagers laughed off their fear, believing it to be mere superstition. But as the hours passed, their laughter turned to terror. One by one, the teenagers began to disappear, swallowed by the darkness that seemed to seep from the very walls. Their screams echoed through the manor, but there was no one to hear them. By morning, all that remained of the ill-fated group were their abandoned flashlights, their beams of light still piercing the darkness. The town was once again gripped by fear and fascination as news of the vanishing at Blackwood Manor spread like wildfire. No one dared enter the manor after dark, and it became a place of dread and whispered legends. Blackwood Manor remained a dark and brooding presence in the Highlands, a stark reminder that some mysteries are best left unsolved. The curse that had plagued the manor for generations continued to claim those who dared to tempt fate, leaving the town and its people to grapple with the chilling tale of the vanishing at Blackwood Manor for years to come.